Hey everyone, Michael Wall here. Welcome into another edition of the Invest Well Show. I want to talk this show about the idea of investing in uncertain times. I tell you, we are in a place in our culture today. We've just seen some unprecedented moves, if you will, from the current president, basically saying that he's backing out of the election. That's all over the place. Upcoming, there's concern about whether or not he's able and competent enough to run the country. We have Kamala coming in as the potential next front runner. We got Trump, the assassination. I mean, there's so many things that are happening. In fact, even when you look at the markets right now, the S&P, as an example, is down from its all-time high. The S&P's all-time high a little earlier on was around 5667, and now it's down to around 5400, so it's dropped a little bit. The market year-to-date for 2024, as I'm shooting this, okay, which is in the middle of July, the end of July, is still up about 13% for the year. I think a lot of people have questions as to what's going to happen with the overall markets. What should I be thinking about with my wealth now? And quite honestly, what is this uncertainty with the election potentially going to do to my wealth? There's a lot of conversation over the years about what it looks like in investing through, we'll call it election years, and that you should just stay the course. And obviously, there's a lot of people that have different varying opinions. But I think this year, I really, really believe this year is different. You know, in 2024, we're in a place where we're experiencing things that we just have not experienced in years past. One of the things that's significantly accelerated is our national debt. We have trillions and trillions of dollars of national debt. We have a dollar that is now deflated in many ways. Many of you are seeing this as you're buying things at the grocery store, vehicles, clothes for your kids as you're getting ready to go back to school. All of these things, you're literally starting to see the devaluation of the dollar in effect, real time. It's called essentially the idea of the power of money, the buying power of money. And we can go back and say, what did $100,000 purchase? What could, I should say it that way, $100,000 purchase 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago? I used to do a lot of speeches and talks about this where I would talk about the fact of how money has changed as far as what it would buy over the years, over time. And we've seen a massively accelerated inflation curve over the last several years, which has caused many of you to be in a place, whether you have a lot of wealth or not, to see that your dollars are actually going not as far. So there's a lot of concern out there, and I wanted to really do this show, this Invest Well show, for those of you out there that I'm going to call patriots, right? You care about the country, you care about your life, you care about your family, you care about conservative values, you care about actually instilling principles and things that matter to the next generation so they can move forward and not move back. You're tired of some of the things that are happening in the country right now. You're not excited about the direction that we're going. You're not excited about the education in schools. And I really wanted to do this because I believe that one of the things we must think about now more than ever is we have to be willing to take back the authority and really the mantle, if you will, of actually teaching the next generation things that matter. Living in a way that is honoring, living in a way that makes sense for the future generation to exceed and maybe supersede what we've done. I know there's a lot of negative out there, and there's a lot of people that are worried and concerned, and they feel like, you know what, our best days are behind us. I don't believe that. And I'm not just sharing that because these are things that Trump shares and he believes. I'm sharing that because I really believe that the best days are ahead. When we look at America as a country, we're rich with natural resources. We have a lot of ingenuity. Where there's a lot of challenges, there's no doubt about it, but there's a lot of ingenuity. There's a lot of great things yet still coming. And I want to talk for a minute about your investments because I think this is so important. There's going to be many of you out there that take the time to really prepare well for what's coming so that way you can win in any economy. And then there's going to be some of you that don't do anything. You just continue to walk around with your head in the sand. Maybe you have your investment accounts at large firms that are of the woke mindset, involved in sponsoring and donating to organizations that you're diametrically opposed to. Maybe you're in a place where you're managing your own money and you feel like you want to take the reins yourself. Maybe you're just not sure what to do. I don't know. What I will tell you is inaction will lead to no future progress. In other words, we must take action on where we are now and take steps to alter and change. So I want to talk about a few things in relation to, we'll call it, for lack of a better word, future-proofing your wealth. When you take a look at how you're invested, I really believe that one of the great ways to protect against inflation, for years and years and years, it's been said a great way to protect against inflation is the stock market. Well, we have to go back and look at the stock market. And we have to realize that years ago, all the way back to 1996, there's literally about 40% less publicly traded stocks on the market today in 2024 than there were in 1996. What does that mean? Does that mean you can't make money in the stock market? No. What it does mean, however, is there's much less opportunity on the stock market today than there was years and years ago. So we got to be thinking differently. I think the other thing that we think about when we look about inflation, one of the best ways to protect your wealth against inflation is to not lose money in the first place. So let's say we're in a place where we come into, the end of this year, beginning of 2025, and we have catastrophe in the markets. Let's say the markets drop 20, 30, 40%. Whether they will or not, I don't know. It's anybody's guess as to what could happen. But what we know is there's challenges in our system right now. And so because of that, there could be these types of issues that come. And if you have a portfolio that is literally all in the market, 401k, independently invested, with an advisor that's a stock, bond, ETF, mutual fund type advisor, if you're all in the market, you're going to be in a situation where you potentially could have significant losses if the market crashes. And let's just think back to in 2008 when Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. Nobody thought that the bonds, money market accounts, and other accounts like that they had, they really felt like those were protected or safe. And yet many, many bonds lost billions of dollars. So when we go back and we look at that, we realize that's not even a safe play. So we have a couple factors here, and that is, number one, protecting against inflation, growing your wealth so that way you can keep up with the costs and demands in the future, and ensuring that you have access to do what you need to do along the way. I believe one of the great ways to do that when you look at your investments is to actually look at opportunity off market. Now, you may not know this, but in my career, I've commentated for national media, CNBC, Fox, and Bloomberg, for about 6 years, wrote for all the papers, the USA Today, Smart Money, Forbes, Wall Street Journal, etc. And one of the reasons I stopped doing that is I believed and realized, quite honestly, just from my time in the industry, that a lot of the information that was shared to consumers like you was just soundbite information that really did not add a lot of value to your overall day-to-day portfolio. And so when I look at actually providing value, as we look at providing value to families over the years with some of the companies that I've been involved in directly in helping families with their wealth, we've always taken the approach of not selling products, but yet building plans. And I really want to challenge you when you look at your investments to think about it from that lens. Don't try and just solve your investment problem with the investment of the day. My challenge to you is to look at your investments in protecting against those three things that I mentioned, inflation, growth, and access that you need, really being in a place where you look at your investments through the lens of building a plan that will give you a high probability of stability, growth, inflation protection, and income that you might need along the way. And I think moving off market is a great way to do that. It's just been a lot of things that I've done in research over the years. We've seen a lot of great success from that. And you got to know that money doesn't go away, it just moves. We know that as money moves, there's demand in other environments. Well, what do I mean by that? There's been a big shift over the years of people moving from California and moving to Texas, or even moving to Florida, which is where I'm at. There's been a big shift of people moving from the north, New York and Jersey, Connecticut, etc., down to Florida, down to South Carolina, down to Georgia. They're tired of these woke, high-taxed governmental bodies that make it challenging for them to live. So therefore, they're deciding to move to a location that's more business-friendly and more free. Well, what happens when that occurs? What happens is there's massive demand and there's significant opportunity. As an example, a little while ago, I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we were looking at some numbers there. And at the time, we realized that in Charlotte, there was about 100 people a day moving into Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, when you think about that, just at face value, that's 3,000 people roughly a month that are moving into a particular area. What do those people need? Well, they need housing. They need to buy food. They need to buy clothes. They need to buy other things. They're going to go out to restaurants. In other words, there's significant economic demand in that place. So how do we think it makes sense to get involved with that? Well, let's start with the basis of where their actual fundamental need is, and that is in housing. Great thing. Let's think about ways that we can profit from those types of opportunities. One of the things that we also know is that people are in a place because they're moving and they're working in more of a, we'll call it office-less environment. They're in a place where they're using more data in the cloud. Data centers are something that are very, I think, important to think about. We've invested in a lot of other things that are going to promote and propel things that we believe work and make sense. So I think when you start looking off market, you start looking at opportunities that are in demand areas, and that gives you the ability to do a couple things. It gives you the ability to literally reduce the day-to-day yo-yo of the market. That doesn't mean there's not risk. Listen, if you don't want risk in your life, if you don't want risk in your portfolio, take that money, shove it right under your mattress, and you'll be participating in what we call losing money safely. Why are you losing money safely? Well, because you're in a situation where you're not even keeping up with inflation. Even if you put money at the bank and you're in a CD because you want to be safe, I call those certificates of depreciation because they're not keeping up with inflation. So you always want to be thinking about what is happening with your money. And by the way, how safe really is it? If your money's at the bank right now and you would look at that as a safe place, is that really safe? What happens if the bank fails? What is the process of you getting your money back? How much in dollars is the Treasury actually backing up? When you start to research some of those paths and patterns, you realize, gosh, it's not really as safe as I thought it was. So we got to, I think, in a lot of ways, rethink how we think about wealth, money, and investing. Unfortunately, what's happened is for years and years and years, you've been in a place where you've been brainwashed. Why? Because you've been given information through your TV in the comfort of your home or your radio in the comfort of your car, information from outlets that are national, international outlets speaking kind of the same voice for year after year after year after year. You know what happens when that happens? You find yourself in a place where you start to believe what you're hearing. We've heard it said before, you tell a lie long enough and it becomes believable. And so that's exactly what's happened in the financial world. Now, that doesn't mean that you can not make money in those environments. You can. But it may not be the best place potentially to maximize your wealth. So I want to end this show with the idea of really thinking about you thinking differently about your wealth. You see me wearing this shirt. Obviously, I'm a big believer in some of the things that we've done over the years. This company is one of the companies that sponsors this show. So I want to challenge you to think different about your wealth. You got a couple $1 million or more. You're making a couple $1 million in income or more. You got questions about reducing taxes. You got questions about how to maximize your wealth and do things differently. Go to the website, leanonthewall.com. These teams have done a great job of helping families over the years. But you got to think differently. Regardless of what you do, my challenge for you is to step back, slow down, and literally think differently. And just think about, just because I've received information over the years from these media outlets, is there any chance that the information that you've received and the person that's sharing it may not necessarily care about your bottom line? Maybe it's just a marketing funnel for advertisements, which really is all media is anyways. So when you think about that, you got to think about what is appropriate and right for you and how do you get in those paths. And I don't think you can do that until you at least start to step back, slow down, and think about how can I think differently about my wealth. Listen, at some of the other firms, that other hats that I wear, Wall Private Wealth, U.S. Private Wealth, we've been able to literally help a lot of patriots out there that care about the country. They've built a significant amount of wealth. They're making a lot of money annually. And they want to be in a place that's independent, that is plan, building, designed process, not just selling product, but actually building plans. They want to be in a place where it's family focused, that this organization is actually donating in a part of organizations that they care about and not donating to woke culture type processes. Think about that. Whether it's us, the firms that I have, or other companies, be mindful of what you are doing. Be mindful of how you're investing. Be mindful of where your dollars are going. As we get more intentional as people, this is how we are in a process of taking the country back to common sense thinking. And it all comes by you paying attention to what happens to your investment dollars and what happens to the investment monies that are made, not only on your investments, but the fees charged from the firm that you're working with and where those dollars go. It's an entire process. We got to think about it from A to Z. Step back, refresh, pay attention, and be blessed. We'll talk to you next time.